Hi everyone, I'm bringing you a review today of a brand new fragrance and it's called Bali Fleur by Balint Parfums or Parfums Balint, which is a perfumer and a perfume house based in Serbia. So I've already sprayed Bali Fleur on my wrists and neck area just now, and I'm going to be wearing it throughout the night because I'm going on a night shift. So I've got a 12-hour night shift ahead of me. We're going to be leaving in about half an hour or so. And this fragrance is a spicy floral. There's Gardenia and Tuberose, there's Saffron and Nutmeg, and there's some citrus, there's some Bergamot. It's a really chilled out fragrance. It's not very loud despite the fact that it's got tuberose in it. It's described as mellow by the perfumer, and I completely see where he's coming from. This is not a screamer and it is not screechy. It's just some real beautiful, almost dried florals with just a hint of spice and a little bit creamy at the same time. That's my first impressions, and I'll come back to you with more later on.
So I wore the fragrance last night on my night shift, and I've got my final thoughts for you. The fragrance opens very happy with a mellow kind of grassy flower feel. It's like you're in a beautiful spring day in a meadow, and there's a mixture of white and yellow flowers and long grass, dewy grass, so there's almost like a slightly moist feel. It's a very sunshiny fragrance without going anywhere into a beachy territory. It just smells like happiness and sunshine in the opening. It's a very natural feel to the fragrance. It does remind me a little bit of Jo Malone's fragrances, particularly the limited editions they do, like I think it was the Meadow collection, that kind of thing. Very, very natural, nothing jumps out, nothing screechy, nothing synthetic going on. There's no synthetic sweet notes like a lot of fragrances I enjoy do have things like vanilla and sort of chocolate and that kind of thing. There's nothing like that going on in here. There is some sweetness, but that comes from the florals, I think, possibly also from the wild strawberry, which is nothing to be afraid of if you think that strawberry might be a little bit synthetic smelling or childlike. It's not the kind of strawberry that flavours children's stationery. It's a very, very natural, light and fresh hint of strawberry that I don't know that I would even put my fingers on the fact that it was strawberry had I not read the notes. So after the opening notes, and it's a very mellow opening, it's not loud, it's not the kind of thing that you spray on and you walk out and everyone can smell you. It's a very quiet fragrance, very mellow and subtle right from the beginning. But after a very short time, you'll notice some spices creeping in, and they add a heat to it, almost like you're accelerating towards the midday sun. So you start off in your morning sunny meadow field, and now all of a sudden, very quickly, you're racing towards the midday sun. The spices start to warm everything up. It smells to me like the kind of spices that you would put in a cake or a cookie. Not that you get the cake batter or the cookie batter, there's none of that, but the spices are sweet and the kind of thing that would only go into a sweet dessert. There is cumin in here, and it does come to the forefront for a brief period of time. Cumin was the only note in here that I was slightly concerned might put me off, and I did notice the cumin, but it didn't hang around for very long at all, and it wasn't a problem. Sometimes cumin can come off a little bit like fried onions or bad body odour, but it didn't do that here. It was noticeable for a short time and then it disappeared, so it was no problem at all. During the wearing of the fragrance, the florals got a little bit sharper. The spices sort of mingle 50-50 with the floral. So you have this floral concoction, which is nothing like you might expect from the notes. The notes will tell you that there's Gardenia and Tuberose in here, along with Champaca. But this is not a big, loud floral bouquet. Forget what the notes say and just imagine an abstract floral note that's very kind of fresh and slightly sweet, but not at all in your face. This is not an overtly floral fragrance, but florals do play an important role. As the fragrance gets further on in the wearing, it becomes less grassy, so that fresh kind of sweet grass that I was noticing in the beginning does subside gently, and it is more about the florals and the spices. You get a little bit of a powderiness from it, but it's not a powdery fragrance, it's just a hint of powder, which I think is probably coming from the myrrh in here. I'm going to read you the notes. So the notes are bergamot, gardenia, wild strawberry, cumin, champaca, jasmine, mace, tuberose, saffron, cashmere wood, musk, myrrh, patchouli, sandalwood and resins. That's all your notes. This to me feels like a vintage fragrance. This could be Chanel Coco Noir, or also reminds me just a tiny bit of MDCI's Chypre Palatin. It's in that ballpark. I'm not saying it smells the same or even that close, but it's got that feel about it. Very vintage. It's not a modern fragrance. It's not a gourmand. It's also not old-fashioned as well. I was completely comfortable wearing it to work. The projection is quite quiet, so for the first hour I was noticing it around myself, but after that it was a skin scent. I had to kind of look for it to be able to smell it. I would say this would suit someone that wants something that's very discreet and not shouty. It does warm up on your skin, so when you first spray it, it's actually quiet right from the offset. It's not jumping off your skin. I found as I warmed up, it started to project more, although never a great amount. It did definitely start to project more, and then it retreated again. So this is something for someone who prefers their fragrances to be quite discreet and not shouty. And this is not something for those people that are looking for a tuberose fragrance that's going to jump out and be anything like Fracas or Madonna's Truth or Dare. It is nothing at all like that. It is nothing like Carnal Flower. This tuberose is subdued. All the floral notes in here have been tamed by the perfumer. So I'm really impressed with that actually, because usually you put things like Gardenia and tuberose together, you are expecting a massive bouquet, something blousy and brassy that jumps out. But this fragrance does not do that at all. The perfumer has somehow managed to tame these loud, sometimes obnoxious flowers and brought them in and told them to behave nicely and mingle well with the other notes in the perfume. This perfume is for someone who's seeking something that's just for them, that's subtle yet beautifully crafted, a great mixture of florals with spices and myrrh and woods, just a beautiful artistic concoction. Then this is one to check out. In terms of longevity, I got about 5 hours on my skin before I felt that I would want to reapply. However, it was a skin scent and I believe it would have lasted longer as a skin scent. So I think you would probably get longer if you're happy with skin scent performance. So that is my review of Bali Fleur. Hope you enjoy. I'll put a link to the website in the description box. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.